This duty applied to everyone, including royalty and nobility. They were assigned to the front lines, and if stationed near the hero, their survival was maximized. But in other locations, their mortality rate was extremely high, as exemplified by young Lord Mihai. To Arin, it all sounded eerily similar to a game's plot, with a hero and a demon king battling, and now Arin, a player with summoning talents choosing the hardest difficulty level, wondered how he could get involved in this war. In November, the Baron returned after a month's delay in the capital. The issue with Canal was resolved. He could no longer harm the Baron's family. The Baron called Arin to thank him, offering 200 silver coins for defeating the Madagashu and another 200 for saving Cecil. A third bag of coins piqued Arin's curiosity. The Baron explained that during his time in the capital, he discussed Cecil's noble duties with the Royal Council. Despite his wishes to keep Cecil off the battlefield, her talents as a sorceress meant they couldn't avoid the Alliance's rules. Therefore, he had a request for Arin. Over the past 4 years, the Baron had observed Arin's talents and trusted his strength. The 200 silver coins in the third bag were for a mission to protect Cecil, both at the academy and on the battlefield. Arin hesitated to accept the 600 silver coins, knowing the Baron was noble but not wealthy, with meals at home even more modest than those of children in Karina village. The idea of entrusting a daughter to a 12-year-old boy was quite an interesting proposition. Arin no longer concealed his abilities and openly told the Baron that he was a summoner. He had hidden this since the church misjudged his power, but now saw no reason to keep it from them. He accepted the mission to protect Miss Cecil, but proposed a change in the reward. Instead of accepting the 2 bags of money, he asked the Baron to exempt his family and the Karina family from taxes. After finalizing the deal, Arin respectfully returned the family crest to the Baron, requesting to end his service to focus on protecting Cecil. The Baron, anticipating this, was prepared. He presented Arin with a dagger, a gift from the family, in recognition of Arin's contributions, which had elevated the Baron's status from Baron to Count. The dagger symbolized Arin's 4 years of effort, and the Count assured him that as long as he had it, the Grabiel family would always support him. The Count and the butler expressed their gratitude for Arin's efforts over the years. In January, after finishing his duties at the Count's house, Arin visited his family in Karina village. He met his younger sibling Miura, born during his absence, who initially avoided him, making Arin feel the pain of not being recognized by his own family. He informed them of his resignation from the Count's house and his plans to attend the academy in the capital with Miss Cecil. Though the family reunion was brief, it was joyful for Arin. Returning to the Count's house, Arin completed his final days as a servant. Cecil was upset about Arin's decision made without consulting her, but eventually forgave him. Dogora and Karina also arrived, reuniting after 4 years and preparing for their journey to the academy. With only 3 days until the start of the term, they were well prepared. Dogora boasted of his ability to take down a giant wild boar alone, while Karina avoided discussing theoretical exams. Dogora sighed, having realized during sparring that Arin was hiding his true talents, as it was unbelievable that the legendary swordsman Karina would lose in a sword fight otherwise. After their reunion, Arin introduced Dogora and Karina to Thomas and Cecil. Karina immediately approached and shook hands with Cecil, making Arin laugh at her carefree attitude, regardless of Cecil's noble status. The Count then appeared, and Karina didn't hesitate to greet him as well, shocking Cecil and leaving Arin at a loss. Karina's casual behavior needed some refining. For the next 3 days, they would stay there, with Karina excitedly exploring the house and jumping on a large bed for the first time, which made Cecil quite perplexed, reaffirming to Arin that this was indeed the legendary swordsman Karina from his village. After dinner, they gathered for a conversation. Karina was enthusiastic about life at the academy, especially interested in the dungeons, while Dogora looked forward to graduation and fulfilling his dream of becoming a knight. Arin hadn't yet told them about their noble duties, deciding to wait for a more appropriate time, given its dangerous nature. After graduation, with her swordsmanship talents, Karina would be appointed as a baroness and would have to fulfill her noble duties along with Cecil. As for Dogora, his performance at the academy would determine his path. 3 days later, Thomas took Arin aside before their departure, asking him to ensure Cecil could really fight. Thomas knew about the noble duties and, like his elder brother Mihai, deeply cared for his sister. Thomas was reassured by Arin's promise that he and Cecil would surely defeat the Demon King. With that, the four of them began their life at the Royal Academy. In the northern part of the Central Shadow Continent, in the Jayamut Empire, the hero Helmios was present. The soldiers were puzzled by the Spirit King's prophecy, which spoke of another hope for humanity, despite Helmios being their current hope. Even Helmios himself found it baffling and decided to investigate. Meanwhile, Arin's group arrived at the capital, with Arin marveling at the city's advancement compared to the countryside. They boarded a train to the academy, where about 20,000 students were enrolled this year. Arin knew he had only 3 years to prepare before heading to the battlefield and had to pass the entrance exams first. Before the exams began, the group needed to reassess their abilities. This test was similar to the assessment they had when they were 5 years old. Dogora went first, followed by an eager Karina, curious about how much she had improved over the years. Strangely, their stats hadn't changed much since they were 5. Finally, it was Arin's turn. He had a bad feeling about this. The orb emitted a strong light, surprising everyone, but still, Arin's stats were only ranked E. He couldn't pass the test. Arin forced a smile and encouraged Cecil, assuring her that he would still serve as her guardian, even if he couldn't attend the academy. Just then, 2 people appeared. The secretary addressed one as the principal, known as Longyear. Arin was curious about the other person. Helmios, noticing Arin's information, was intrigued by his summoner skills, a talent he had never seen before. The principal also found it odd, suspecting a problem with the testing device. Helmios decided to assess Arin directly, which nearly drove Arin mad with frustration as Helmios read out all of Arin's information without permission. After a thorough check, Helmios sarcastically encouraged Arin, suggesting the device might indeed be faulty since Arin's stats were not bad at all. Helmios expressed a desire to see the abilities of a summoner. Arin quickly covered Cecil's mouth, requesting Helmios to at least introduce himself first. Helmios then laughingly revealed his identity as a hero and openly admitted to reading Arin's information to everyone. Now, Arin asked Helmios to disclose his own stats. Helmios agreed, revealing that most of his stats were at maximum levels. Then it was Arin's turn. He summoned a small rat, the weakest of his beasts, a fact Helmios had missed in his assessment. With permission, Arin led the group away to the academic test. It felt like a university exam, but Arin had prepared thoroughly, and he and his friends easily passed the test, officially becoming students. Instead of staying in a dormitory, Arin decided to rent a house for the group, finding it more convenient for everyone to live together. Afterwards, Arin led the group to the Adventurers Guild to register. While waiting, Arin negotiated a deal with the guild to buy a large quantity of magic stones. With only 3 years at the academy, he foresaw the need for many magic stones for the upcoming battles. After finalizing the deal, they went to explore the dungeons. Arin invited everyone to form a team, which he named High Gamer, symbolizing their collective aspiration to reach the pinnacle. In his previous life, Arin couldn't pursue his dream of becoming a professional gamer due to work commitments, but now, with talent stronger than a hero's, he aimed to become the strongest in this world. After finishing at the Adventurers Guild, Arin took everyone to rent a house, choosing one close to the guild for easy access to the dungeons. That evening, during dinner, Arin informed the group about their noble duties. In 3 years, he and Cecil would have to join the battle against the Demon King's army. Karina and Dogora immediately decided to join them. Arin's status board updated, indicating that 2 more people had joined the team and could now see all his information. Next, they discussed how to defeat the Demon King. With only 3 years to train, they faced a daunting task. To surpass his limits, Arin needed to find a ring known as the Mana Recovery Ring. April arrived, and it was their first day at the academy. With 100 classes of 30 students each, 3,000 students had enrolled that year. Karina drew much attention as a legendary swordsman. Their class teacher laid down the rules, emphasizing that regardless of their backgrounds, whether peasant, commoner, or noble, everyone was equal at the academy. The school schedule was 6 days a week, with 4 periods per day, general knowledge in the morning and talent classes in the afternoon. As Arin's summoning talent was unique, he was exempted from afternoon classes. On their first day off after starting school, Arin gathered the group to explore the dungeon. Eager to begin, Arin and Karina couldn't wait any longer. Thanks to the substantial funds Arin brought, he was able to equip everyone with the best gear. They embarked on a level C dungeon, entering a separate dimension that prevented different exploring teams from encountering each other, an ideal setup for Arin to keep his summoning abilities hidden. Arin released several hooks to scout and map the dungeon. Choosing the shortest route to the boss room, he checked the team stats, now easily accessible since Karina and Dogora had joined his team. When they encountered 2 smile monsters, Arin let Cecil take them down herself, marking her first monster defeat. Karina and Dogora quickly dispatched another pair of attacking monsters as the team advanced. By the end of the day, they had cleared the first floor of the dungeon. This exploration was highly efficient, as they could resume from where they left off in their next session. Clearing one floor, Arin gathered about 200 magic stones. His information-sharing skill allowed him to leave summoned beasts in the dungeon, enabling him to hunt and attend classes simultaneously. By the 5th day, they had reached the 6th floor and faced the level C dungeon boss. This was an opportunity for the team to witness Arin's summoning abilities in full action. They encouraged Arin to defeat the boss himself. He agreed, summoning a pack of bears and swiftly defeating the boss in one turn. After collecting the treasure, they returned to sell their loot for gold, which wasn't a lot but enough to cover living expenses. Arin marveled at the convenience of the dungeon's spatial teleportation feature, curious about who could have created such a system. On the last school day in May, just before the 3-month summer break, their teacher reminded them of a mandatory dungeon exploration test at the end of the holidays. Failing this test would result in expulsion. Students were allowed to form their own groups. Naturally, everyone wanted to team up with Karina, but Arin, as a group leader, quickly asserted his claim and invited a healer to join his group. It wasn't until lunchtime that a student named Kill applied to join. After some discussion, Kill agreed to join Arin's group for a dungeon run scheduled for the coming weekend. Kill's first dungeon expedition with Arin's group was an exciting experience for him, especially the thrill of leveling up. 3 weeks later, they finally reached the boss room. Arin strategically positioned the team for the attack. Karina and Dogora, strengthened by their continuous efforts, could now solo fight against a level C monster. Kill's task was to heal any injuries from the backlands. His healing skill was highly effective, instantly healing Dogora's wounds upon incantation. Kill had learned this skill during his time at the church, finding its use exhilarating. Karina and Dogora also wanted to use their own skills, but they had to wait until their 2nd year to start learning them. Kill's eyes lit up upon seeing a treasure chest in the boss's room, containing a shield made of mistil material. Selling it could bring in 15 gold coins. As previously agreed, Arin evenly distributed the money and magic stones among the group, earning Kill's respect and making him express a desire to officially join Arin's team. Arin then invited Kill to live with the group, but he politely declined, citing his family responsibilities. In June, one night, Arin suddenly woke up, realizing something important. He left a few bears to guard the house while he went out to upgrade his summoner level. Now capable of summoning level C monsters, he excitedly explored his new team members. The most notable among the new summons was a soul-type creature named Maria, who could communicate with Arin and move through walls. Next, Arin tested the skills of the lower-level summons. When he summoned a locust and activated its skill, it multiplied into a swarm. This skill was exactly what Arin needed, promising to be useful in various situations. The next morning, Arin returned and introduced Maria to the group. From now on, Maria would be responsible for guarding their home. Arin was eager to test the new monster team over the weekend. After breakfast, the group went to school, where a special event was taking place to boost students' morale, featuring the appearances of Sword Saints Doberg and Sylvia, as well as the hero Helmios. Upon meeting Sword Saint Doberg, Karina excitedly asked for his advice on using skills, motivated by her desire to become stronger. Doberg took Karina aside for individual training, instructing her to fight with all her might as he gradually guided her. Karina attacked relentlessly, but Doberg easily countered her moves. He advised her to abandon the idea of using skills until her second year. Despite this, Karina persisted and continued fighting Doberg into the evening, eventually understanding how to use her skills but collapsing from exhaustion. Aaron was impressed by Karina's performance, and Helmios took an interest in Aaron, curious about his dreams. Aaron remained reserved, deciding to keep his skills and aspirations confidential until he fully trusted Helmios. Finally, the day for dungeon exploration arrived. Aaron summoned the bird Fran, which could carry the team at high speeds through the dungeon. Karina was eager to test her newly learned skill, Flying Sword, enhancing her attack range. Maria accompanied Aaron, ready to collect magic stones that dropped. Thanks to Fran's speed, the team quickly reached the dungeon's final floor. Observing Kill's despondent demeanor, Aaron realized Kill only seemed happy when treasure was involved. Deciding to quickly finish the dungeon, Aaron planned a celebration for the new team member. Kill immediately declined, feeling guilty about his large family of 8 in the city, struggling to find work. To alleviate this, Aaron proposed that Kill's family join them to take care of their house, offering to pay them a fair salary. Cecil chimed in, suggesting that the earnings be divided into 6 parts, with 1 part going to Kill's family. In return, Kill would give all the magic stones they collected to Aaron. This fair arrangement led